distinguished lady and gentlemen here to please take their seats. But just some brief announcements before we go back to the recognitions of some of our special and distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, we have members of the Health, Environment and Youth team. They are here present, and they came to inform us that they've strategically positioned waste baskets at strategic places in the hall. So please endeavor to be law-abiding citizens and make use of the waste baskets positioned strategically in the hall.
Also, we have the conveniences at the exit points,
yes,
and also the entry point.
Yes, we have just male and female conveniences. Male and female conveniences. All right.
We'd like to recognize also with us the national chairman of the All Progressive Grand Alliance. Is one of us. Is Chief Sly Eze Okenwa.
Please put your hands together for the national chairman of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, Chief Sly Eze Okenwa.
He is also one of us. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right. We'd also like to recognize the immediate past Secretary General of the MBA, Dame Joyce Odua. She's the Secretary General of the Pan-African Lawyers Union. Please, a round of applause for her. A round of applause for Dame Joyce Odua. Thank you.
Would like to recognize one of our own, Senator Dino Milai. Can we give him a round of applause, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 5 minutes to the official start of the event. But I just want to ask, since all of us are right here in River State, Port Harcourt, and River State, Port Harcourt is known for 2 very popular foods. How many of you here have had bolly and fish? Who has had bolly and fish? Can we see a wave of hands? Have you had the popular bolly and fish? No? No? Who has had fisherman soup? How many of you had fisherman? I can see Joyce Odua with 2 hands. All right. Please do endeavor to make use of your time in Port Harcourt. There are lots of hot spots you can visit. There's a pleasure park. And there's some side attractions in the city. But one of the most important side attractions is trying your hands on some bolly and fish. Not bolly and granuts. Bolly and fish and some fisherman soup. All right,
and of course, there are some indoor activities. Now, particularly because it's been a raining season, a raining period. Every day throughout this conference, it's been raining. And so I would advise that you stick to the indoor activities. And of course, there's a side to all of this. The side, apart from the rain, we've heard complaints of hike in price with transportation. The bus drivers have been very funny. And so we advise that it comes with this kind of conference. And so it's either you cancel the ride or please pet them like I did earlier. Pet them and then we'll not have any issues. We don't want to hear that lawyers are fighting with both drivers. That's a side to it. Other than that, the rain increase in some other things. Other than that, it's been a beautiful time in this city of Port Harcourt, a garden city of Port Harcourt. I'm sure, gentlemen, that you will agree with me that it's been a beautiful time in this city. Would like to recognize Dr. Labarum Magaji S.A.N. He is the Secretary of Nasarawa State, the SSG of Nasarawa State. Wherever you are, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Labaran Magaji, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. He is the Secretary to the State Government of Nasarawa State. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you so much, sir. We love that Nasarawa State is well represented at these events. All right, we have 2 minutes to start time. Ladies and gentlemen.
So while we'll expect other dignitaries for recognition, we will would ask that you please take your seats. We just have a minute to kick off officially this event. And so please bring in your recognitions before we start properly.
I reckon that by 4 p.m. sharp, the doors will be shut and we can kickstart today's event properly. All right.
I think we should recognize Mommy Harriet Balogo, who is here in our midst.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have an enigma, a living legend in our midst. She was the first female Attorney General of Lagos State and a General Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association. Ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not too busy, please put your hands together for a distinguished national awardee, Mommy Harriet Balogun. A round of applause for her. Make that better, make that better. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, Mommy, for all that you do and represent in the legal profession. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I crave your indulgence. So please be on your feet as we take the national anthem and the NBA prayer to be taken by Professor Isa Hayatu Chiroma, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Can we have Professor walk to the stage, please?
National anthem first, please. Can we have the national anthem?
Thank you very much. May we have Professor Isa Hayatu Chiroma, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Please welcome him with a round of applause as he comes to lead us for the NBA opening prayer. Please remain on your feet. Thank you so much.
Almighty God, our Creator, we pray you to be with us in all our deliberations and to direct our endeavors so that we shall continue in all humility to glorify the name and do that which is right and just for our profession, its members, our fellow men, and our country. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may please take your seats.
Gentlemen, the hall is already too full, and so please, there's an overflow behind. Whatever that is happening here, you would see it there. Kindly, if you do not have a seat, go to the overflow and sit very comfortably. Thank you so very much. We would like to recognize, we still have a few recognitions. I would like for you to please take that.
We would first of all like to specially recognize Honorable Nasiru Mohammed, the Honorable Attorney General of Sokoto State. Please, a round of applause for Honorable. Please make that better for the Attorney General of Lagos State. Attorney General of Sokoto, please.
Sokoto State.
Sokoto.
Sonimi, this year's conference, it's titled Beyond Limits. Now, as a young lawyer, what comes to mind? Generally, what do you think about it?
I think it's more than a slogan. It comes to mind as a declaration that we will challenge convention, embrace innovation, and reimagine the future of legal practice. Now, I know that everyone has gathered here today because of the very, very important discussions and conversations that we're going to be having over the course of the next few days. We're going to hear from some of the finest legal minds in the legal profession and beyond. We'll engage in these meaningful conversations and also forge new relationships and explore ideas that will shape the future of the legal profession in Nigeria. So that's what beyond limits means to me. Yes.
I totally agree with you. But just to say that, to me, it means you can stretch yourself beyond the limit.
Exactly.
And so you can dream about anything. You can become anything. And so to achieve, for instance, in 5 years' time, you can start planning now. And so, just as you have said, we'll hear conversations that will help us to plan better and think beyond your limits.
Yes. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 66th Annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association. Please, a round of applause for yourselves as you're here.
Right away, we'd like to recognize the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Tinubu. We'd like to recognize the representative of the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, also the Speaker of the House of Representatives, represented. Would like to recognize the representative of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, my Lord, the Honorable Justice Kudirat Kekere Ekun, CFR.
We will also like to recognize our chief host, the Executive Governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Sir Siminalayi Fubara, and members of his Executive Council. Please, a round of applause for His Excellency in absentia. I guess, and I know for sure, he's on his way to join us. Please make that better. He's our chief host today. Iberi?
Honorable ministers here with us, we welcome you, your excellencies, governors of different states present with us. Our keynote speaker, earlier recognized, we welcome you, sir. Welcome to Nigeria. We're glad to have you here. Such an honor and a privilege to have you here. Welcome you, sir. We want to welcome the President of the Court of Appeal.
I want to recognize the President of the Court of Appeal and other justices of the Court of Appeal. We would also like to recognize the Chief Judge of Rivers State, Honorable Justice Simeon Amadi, heads of courts and other CJs of different states. Please, a round of applause for the Chief Judge of Rivers State.
Who is also our host.
Yes,
who hosted us to a very beautiful cocktail yesterday. We'd like to welcome especially past presidents of the Nigerian Bar Association. We can see some of them in front. Past President Olumide Akpata, we welcome you, sir. We also welcome, thank you so very much. Please give them a round of applause. Would like to welcome past President Austin Alege. Please give him a round of applause as well. Would like to welcome all other past presidents here with us, and also past general secretaries. Past general secretary, we can see Joyce Odua, Madam Joyce, Dame Joyce Odua with us. You're welcome, ma.
I can also spot Leonard Silk, OCJ Okocha, former president of the NBA. Please, a round of applause. Thank you so much, sir. It's a privilege to have you in our midst. And I can spot a delectable individual, incoming president of the Nigerian Bar Association.
The Bold Nation.
Mrs. Oyikansola Badejo Okusanya, senior advocate of Nigeria.
The incoming 33rd president of the Nigerian Bar Association and members of the executive committee. We welcome you all. We're happy to have you with us. We'd like to acknowledge, we'd like to acknowledge the presence of learned senior advocates of Nigeria in our midst. We welcome you, sirs and mas, members of the body of benches, the chairman of the local organizing committee. You should give him a round of applause, gentlemen, please. It's not easy to organize a program as this. They've been working with the Annual General Conference Planning Committee seriously. And that's why we have what we have here. We'd like to welcome You, sir, would like to acknowledge and thank you and your team. The chairman is Tonye Krukobo, SAM. Please give him a round of applause. And of course, the chair of this event, the annual general conference. Abdul Mohammed SAM. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Ladies and gentlemen, let us make welcome the executive governor of Rivers State.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the executive governor of Rivers State in our midst, His Excellency Siminalayi Fubara. Please put your hands together for him. He's known as Mr. Healthcare, Mr. Infrastructure in Rivers State, but we know him as a friend and our chief host at the Nigerian Bar Association. Please make that better, make that better. Make that better. Thank you very much. We would also like to recognize members of his executive cabinet that have made their way here to be with us. Thank you so much.
Some of those persons with His Excellency would like to recognize Alabo, Dr. Tammy Wenike Dana Gogo. He's a member of us. He's one of us, rather. He's a former Minister of Sports, the former Secretary to the Rivers State government. We welcome you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, we also have another national representative here. We are privileged to have the Chief of Army Staff. These are the men that keep the land, the sea, the waters safe. We have Lieutenant General W. Shaibu, Nigerian Army Medal. He's ably represented by the General Officer commanding 6th Division, Nigerian Army, Major General E.I. Okoro. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you so much, sir. We are super excited that you've decided to join us. You look very military, sir. We're happy that you're here with us. Thank you, sir. All right.
We want to recognize, still in the governor's entourage, Chief Adokie Amese Maka, former Honorable Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice here in Rivers State. We welcome you, sir. Please, can we give him a round of applause? They are our host, please. Thank you so very much.
And last but not the least, because we are still coming back to make more announcements and more recognitions, please put your hands together for the Honorable Attorney General of Benue State, Professor Timothy Yangian Oranugwa. Please, a round of applause for Professor Timothy.
We'd like to welcome chairmen of branches, secretaries, members of the Nigerian Bar Association. Can you give yourself a round of applause? You are welcome. We'd like to recognize also, again, members of the armed forces, the army, the police, and all others that are here with us. Gentlemen of the press, we welcome you. The media team.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Rapporteurs, we welcome all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, you are all welcome to this August conference.
Thank you very much, Ebere. Ladies and gentlemen, right now we move back into our order of events. And to take us further in today's event, to explain why we are here in Port Harcourt, and to explain why we are particularly excited to be at the NBA AGC Beyond Limits conference, please put your hands together for Chairman of the Local Organizing Committee, Mr. Tonye Kukrobo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. A round of applause for Mr. Tonye. Senior Advocate, we are expecting you on stage, Chairman of the LOC. Thank you very much. Please make that better as he makes his way and warms his way to the podium. Make that better for the chairman of your LOC.
The chairman will do his opening remarks in 3 minutes, sir. Thank you, sir. We're waiting for you.
Okay, if we can't cite Leonard Silk, Mr. Tonye Krukubo, I think we can now have the chairman of the Annual General Conference Planning Committee, Mr. Abdul Rafin Dadi Mohammed, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Please put your hands together for the chairman of the Annual General Conference Planning Committee as he makes his way to give us his opening remarks for the next 3 minutes. Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for my chairman. Thank you so much, sir.
Once upon a time, in 1912, Lord Frederick Lugard set out to find an alternative to the only seaport in the colony and protectorate of the territory now called Nigeria. Coal have been found in abundance in Enugu, but its evacuation is only through the Lagos port. Not convenient, and it's becoming an irritation to ship through Lagos owing to growing political awareness of the agates, because they had begun to organize into unions, making the operation of the Lagos port more challenging than the colonial administration ever wanted. On board the SS Ivy, Lord Lugard ferried through the Forcados network in the Mangrove Creek. Near Okrikra town, he yelled, "Eureka! This place is suitable for the purpose. Building a port will require funding. Releasing the fund will require some lobbying. But Lord Lugard is in faraway Africa, while approval for such funding comes from London." Lord Lugard sent a telegram to the Secretary of States for the colonies, reflecting the colonial mindset of that era. He wrote, "In the absence of convenient local name, I will respectfully ask your permission to name the port after you." The reply came swiftly. "It gives me great pleasure to accede to your suggestion that my name should be associated with the new port. Sir Lewis Harcourt, Member of Parliament, was the Secretary of the colonies then. And gentlemen and ladies, that is how this remarkable city came to bear the name Port Harcourt." Your Excellency, George Openware, the former president of Liberia. Your Excellency, Sir Siminalai Joseph Fubara, GSSRS, Governor of Rivers State, member of your executive entourage, members of the Federal Executive Council, members of the National Assembly, the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, my Lord, the Chief Justice of Nigeria and Justices of the Supreme Court here present, my Lord, the President of the Court of Appeal and other Justices of the Court of Appeal here present, my Lord, the Chief Judge of Rivers State, our host, and other Justices of Rivers State High Court and Rivers State Customary Court, the other Chief Judges of other states here present, past, present, presidents, and past General Secretaries, incoming President of the Nigerian Bar Association, members of the incoming Executive Council, learned senior advocates of Nigeria, His Royal Highness, the Chairman of the Body of Benchers, members of the Body of Benchers, members of the Outer Bar, members of the Pros, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I bid you a warm welcome to the Garden City of Port Harcourt, the fourth most populous city in Nigeria after Lagos, Kano, and Ibadan. Situated along the Bonny rivers in the heart of the oil-rich Niger Delta, Port Harcourt has grown into a thriving metropolis with an estimated urban population of about 3.8 million people. Aside its economic significance, it is a city blessed with illustrious sons and daughters, including pioneer lawyers, boasting of one of the first set of senior advocates of Nigeria, Mr. Nebo Graham Douglas. On the 30th day of August 2024, during the inaugural speech of the 32nd President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mazi Afam Osigwe, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Fellow Chartered Institute of Arbitrators UK, a solemn promise was made to hold the annual General Conference in this city. Last year, there was a declaration of state of emergency, which compelled the association to defer the hosting promise to a further date. But as the saying goes, agreement na agreement yo. Today, we are gathered here in fulfillment of that promise. The theme of this year's conference is Beyond Limit. Many of you will remember the young boy in the movie titled The Matrix, where he said, "There is no spoon." The lesson from the scene is profound, that the limitation we perceive only exists in our mind. Our team is deliberately chosen to restate the unwavering hopes of Nigerians and indeed Africans that regardless of any obstacle, every ceiling is actually made of glass and can be shattered. It is our belief that when you leave Port Harcourt, you will do so with an unshakable conviction that nothing should stand in the way of your dreams and aspirations, as the world is full of limitless potential. All you need is to live it. Do you know of any dynasty in Nigeria that is 1,000-year-old? Our royal father of the day is the 20th traditional ruler of the Kanem Borno Empire, one of the oldest and most revered monarchies in Nigeria. His Royal Highness, Dr. Alhaji Dr. Abubakar Ibn Umar Garbai El-Kanemi, sits on the throne of the El-Kanemi dynasty. A dynasty that has endured and flourished for over 1,000 years, despite the tides it has confronted over the years. Al-Kanemi dynasty is beyond limits. We are deeply honored by the presence of His Eminence at this conference. Our keynote speaker, George, Talon, Mane, Opong, Usman, Ware, is another example of Beyond Limit. Born on the first day of October 1966 in Monrovia, Liberia, he is a man who in the dusty streets of Monrovia honed his talent to make history in 1995, becoming the first and to date the only African to win both the FIFA World Player of the Year and the Ballon d'Or, bringing immense pride to the African continent. Like the legendary Bob Marley, he used his global influence to focus world attention on the tragedy unfolding in his homeland and the urgent need for international intervention. For his unrelenting belief in peace, he sacrificed his resources to bring the ugly civil war in Liberia to an end. After the war, he joined politics so as to contribute in rebuilding his country. When he was told that he was not properly fit for the job, he did not give up. He returned to school to overcome the dropout status that hung over his head, proceeding to earn a diploma in 2007, a bachelor's degree in 2011, and a master's degree in 2013. He did not stop there. He contested and lost election in 2005, only to return in 2017 to be elected the president of Liberia. His remarkable journey is a testament to the fact that barriers only exist to be broken. He truly embodies the spirit of our conference team. We are confident that his keynote address today will inspire us all to continue shattering every perceived obstacles to our goals. As you participate in this conference, it will indeed be a missed opportunity if you fail to take advantage of the wealth of knowledge that will be shared by over 200 speakers assembled here. Your network is your net worth. Beyond technical sessions, you will have unique opportunities to interact with over 24,000 lawyers, exchange ideas, build meaningful professional relationships, and forge friendship that may last a lifetime. If you must leave a DNA in River State, leave it to be a lasting one. River State is truly a remarkable state. Beyond its abundant oil resources, it boasts of a rich ecological heritage and breathtaking wildlife. I encourage you to visit the Finima Nature Park in Boni, or if bird watching fascinates you, to explore the Obakiri Elele wetlands with one of the organized birding groups. If you have never witnessed elephants in their natural habitat, you should consider visiting Andoni local government area, where elephants have continued to coexist peacefully with their human neighbors. I have no doubt that you will enjoy all that River State has to offer. Permit me to express my profound gratitude to the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, the Ife Chukwukulu of Innewi Kingdom, for considering me worthy of the privilege of serving as chairman of the annual General Conference planning. I also thank members of the bar whose unwavering enthusiasm and commitment have contributed immensely to the success of this conference. As at the time I mounted this podium, registration had exceeded 24,000 participants, and the requests for registration are still coming in. Our heartfelt appreciation also goes to our sponsors, whose generous support has made this gathering possible, particularly Maton Engineering Nigeria Limited, Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited, and of course, the government and people of River State. We are especially grateful to His Excellency, and you will forgive me, sir, Amao Pusenibo, Siminalaye Joseph Fubara. If I mention the title wrongly, I am very sorry, sir. The governor of River State, for leaving no stone unturned to ensure that this conference leaves an unforgettable experience. We say a heartfelt thank you. There is a popular saying in Hausa, that dangari akan chegari, meaning that one needs a local guide to truly find one's way around unfamiliar terrain. For me, Sami Somieri, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, my able alternate, has been that dependable guide. We have become so close that I simply call him Yaya Sabi. I must also recognize Barbara Omoso, who graciously stepped away from her responsibility as Chief of Staff to the NBA President to coordinate the Secretariat of the Annual General Conference planning. I equally will be remiss if I fail to acknowledge Babatunde Ogala, OFR, SAN, who gave his all in the quest to make this conference truly a worthy experience. And every distinguished members of both the inner and outer bar who served in the AGCPC. Your commitment, cooperation, and tireless dedication are reflected in the excellent experience we will enjoy in the next coming days. Finally, I must not fail to appreciate the local organizing committee, ably led by Tonye Krubo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who, despite the short time available after their inauguration, hit the ground running and discharged their responsibility with remarkable dedication and efficiency. Distinguished conferees, this is Port Harcourt. The weather is inclement. We cannot do anything about the rain. Irregardless, we will have fun. Welcome to the 2026 Annual General Conference.
The Annual General Conference of MBA over the years has been a forum where the MBA demonstrates its corporate essence or core objectives to unite legal practitioners for professional development, policy debate, and institutional reforms. This annual conference serves as the umbrella of Nigeria's largest gathering of lawyers, addressing issues of law, state of our justice system, defense of democratic values in Nigeria, charting the future directions of the legal profession, and engaging critical national discourse or national question. To this end, I commend the enterprising and proactive leadership of Mazi Afam Osigwe, SAN, the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, and his executive. During his tenure, Afam Osigwe, as president, transformed his incumbency to the realization of the noble mission or objective or ideas of the MBA. We celebrate your professionalism, integrity, and standard-setting contributions to the office of the President of MBA. You were prompt in constructive criticism of policies of government and actions of persons and authorities, and also ready in defense of fundamental rights of citizens in deserving circumstances and illustrious legacy of activism. Verily, the bar in the past 2 years lived up to the theme of the 2025 Annual Bar Conference, Stand Out, Stand Tall, unquote, which was a clarion call for members of the legal profession to rise with courage to their commitment to justice, integrity, rule of law, innovation, and dynamic leadership in Nigeria. Let me congratulate the MBA on the seamless election of 18th of July 2026, and also congratulate the incoming 33rd President, Mrs. Badijo Okosia, SAM, and the executive on their successful election in a keenly contested MBA election. The theme of this 2026 MBA 66 Annual Conference, I quote, Beyond Limits, invite the MBA as a body and the incoming president to walk or go beyond set boundaries, break through restrictions or what seem impossible. In the years ahead, the incoming president is called upon to exceed or go beyond the predecessor's achievements and limits. There are critical national issues that deserve attention and stand out as a wake-up call to intense proactivity. The 2027 general election in Nigeria, which is barely 5 months away, is uppermost. The MBA carries grave responsibility to the nation before, during, and after the election. The MBA carries great responsibility to the nation before, during, and after the election as a veritable stakeholder in our democratic transition. At this critical point, society increasingly looks onto the judiciary and the bar for fairness and stability. We must not fail the nation. Political parties and their candidates should be told that no ambition, however legitimate, is worth human life and the peace of the nation. MBA, as always, played the noble and nationalistic role of contributing to fair, transparent, credible, peaceful, and successful elections in Nigeria in 2027. The bench and bar are twin pillars in the administration of justice in Nigeria. Their ultimate objectives remain the same: the attainment of justice and the protection of human rights and liberties of the citizenry. For the good of our nation and the noble profession, it is imperative that the bench and the bar continue to promote cordial relationship founded on mutual respect, professionalism, shared commitment to justice and courtesy. I wish to place on record that the Rivers State Judiciary enjoyed robust support or harmonious relationship with MBA National and all the 9 branches of MBA in Rivers State, especially in their continued advocacy for judicial independence and access to justice. The bar must respond to changing circumstances of the world. We live in an age where technology of AI is increasingly affecting legal practice and administration of justice. There is the pressing need for the bench and the bar to embrace innovation and technology in the administration of justice to enhance efficiency, reduce delays, and promote access to justice, but with acknowledgement of the ethical limits and challenges. As we all gather for this conference, I appeal to participants to uphold the highest standard of professional conduct as eyes are watching, ears are open to hear, and mouths are ready to comment on the conduct of the conference and participants. We need no reminder that the future of the Nigerian legal profession and indeed the future of Nigeria's democracy significantly rests on our shoulders. Let me appreciate the leadership of the Nigerian Bar Association for the choice of Port Harcourt, Rivers State, as the venue of this 66th annual conference of MBA. We know what happened last year. Rivers State is the treasure base of the nation, where its people and visitors are treasured. With the admirable hospitality of Rivers people and the government of Rivers State under His Excellency Sir Siminalayi Fubara, GSSRS, the governor of Rivers State, I assure you that your stay will be safe, socially enjoyable, and your conference intellectual stimulating. Once again, I welcome you to Rivers State. I wish you all a joyous and memorable stay in Port Harcourt and journey message to your destination thereafter. Long live MBA, long live the judiciary, long live Rivers State, long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, my Lord, the Honorable Chief Judge of Rivers State. We are grateful. Thank you so very much. Now, before I invite this man to the stand, I would like us to please note that we still have some speakers, a few of them left. We're yet to take the keynote speaker and also the governor of Rivers State, who will be declaring this conference open. This man, since he came into office, has visited almost all the branches in the country. There's no state in the country he has not touched. And he has been very proactive. He is a man in whom we're well pleased. Most of us would not agree, or maybe few of us would not agree. This man is not just my president, he's our president. He's the 32nd president of the Nigerian Bar Association. To you is Mr. President, to us is Uncle Lulu, he's the golden boy. Ladies and gentlemen, please can we give him a rousing ovation? I welcome the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mazi Afam Osigwe, SAN, to do his address. Welcome, sir.
Your Excellency George Oponwe, past president of Liberia, Your Excellency Amopu Senebo, Sir Siminalayi James Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, the royal father of the day, His Eminence Alhaji Dr. Abubakar Ibn Umar, El Kanemi, CFR, FNE, FNAL, Chairman, Borno State Council of Chiefs. The Chairman of the Body of Benchers, His Royal Majesty Albert Akpomuje. The GOC 6th Division, representing the Chief of Army Staff. Past Presidents of the NBA, Chief T.O. Okpoko, OCJ Okocha, SN, both of them. Olumide Akpata, the President-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mrs. Oyinkansola Badejo Okusoya, SN. The Chief Judge of Rivers State, Honorable Justice Simeon Chibuzo Amadi. Let me adopt the already established protocol. Time is fast spent. I thought by 6 p.m. we'll be here out of this place, but I think I was being very optimistic. I address you all with great honor and joy at this opening ceremony of the Nigerian Bar Association's 66th Annual General Conference taking place in this beautiful city of and welcoming and warm city of Port Harcourt. It's good to be back here. This town is fondly called PH, Prakot, Pitaqua, among so many other names. It's a beautiful city. And when you note so many names by which the town is known, it shows you the different perspectives and we are seen by the different age groups and how people fondly look forward to seeing, and also called PH. It is also known as Nigerian's Garden City. So we are in the Garden City. This town was originally selected to be the host city of the conference in 2025. When the unfortunate incident of the declaration of state of emergency occurred, we thought that the circumstances were such that we could not rightly hold our conference under the leadership of a sole administrator, and in keeping with our motto of promoting the rule of law, we opted out of hosting the conference in this city, but with a promise that whenever the democratic rule and governance return to the state, we would be back. When the governor, who is here present here today, was reinstated, we thought that it was only meet and proper for us to return to the city because we made a promise and we had to keep that promise. When the chairman of the annual general conference said agreement is agreement, I thought to myself, some agreements are immoral and may not be kept. So not all agreements are agreements. But then, I digress. We chose as a theme for this year's annual general conference, Beyond Limits. As a call to action. Now, many of us are held back by obstacles that are either physical, real, imagined, or mental. And we thought that there is need for us to remind Nigerians that if you believe you can do it, you can. And that if you believe you cannot do it, you probably may not. Years ago, I came across a saying that if you throw your heart over the bar, then your body will follow. Meaning you can't overcome any obstacle which you have not believed you are capable of overcoming. And we are urging Nigerians to go beyond limits. And in doing this, we are reminded that when Nigeria gained independence on October 1st, 1960, there were a lot of hopes that Nigeria was going to be the beacon of Africa, was going to be like the lighthouse that was going to guide many African nations to greatness. 66 years after, and this is our 66th Annual General Conference, that hope remains to be realized. I hope Nigeria was then also called the giant of Africa. And sometimes it feels like telling Nigeria, oh giant, awake. But you have great potentials which you are yet to fully achieve. May I remind us that this optimism that Nigeria will be the greatest nation out of Africa and the greatest black nation in the world, was founded on a few optimisms. And I will share some of them. Constitutional democracy. There was the belief that Nigeria had parliamentary democracy and federalism, and that it would successfully harmonize Nigeria's diverse ethnic and regional identities to forge the people into one. 66 years after, ethnicity, religion, and the things that were thought to be our strength have actually gone to weaken us. We have tribal cleavages which have made development very difficult. We don't think of ourselves as a nation. We first think as members of our ethnic or religious group and hardly think of the best interest of Nigeria. We are first parochial, and the sense of nationhood is not as high as it should be. There were world-class institutions. Some universities were being built, and Nigerians were attaining prominence in different parts of the world. And we had politicians who had shown such greatness and vision that they were expected to shape the way for Africa. And then the rule of law was also thought Nigeria, the establishment of competent judiciary and public service designed to steer a self-reliant and sovereign state would be among the strengths that would make Nigeria that giant of Africa, so that we will not only bear the name, but justify that appellation. Let me explain why in his independent address on October 1st, 1960, the then Prime Minister, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, captured the optimism of that moment when he observed, it seemed that we were destined to move with quiet dignity to our place on the world stage. I don't need to tell you or be the ones to answer the question whether we have moved with quiet dignity or dignity at all, or whether we have attained our place in the world stage. Yet acknowledging the challenges that had already begun to emerge, he noted that recent events had changed the scene beyond recognition, leaving the country being tested to the utmost. Even then, he remained confident in the Nigerian spirit, declaring, "We shall not fall for want of determination. And we come to this task better equipped than many." Those were some of the hopes held out for Nigerians, and in many respects, the black race. 66 years later, Nigeria continues to bear the title Giant of Africa, and through its population of over 220 million people and its prominent role in shaping Africa's political, economic, and cultural landscape. Yet, while Nigeria has not fully achieved the expectations and dreams of its fathers, it still possesses the potential to do so and to become one of the leading countries of the world. Our potential, however, has remained latent, out of focus, and at times, seemingly a mirage. As lawyers, we are custodians of the promise of Nigeria. We must therefore look beyond the familiar and focus on African leadership, democratic consolidation, institutional reform, and regional integration, particularly as Nigeria and other African countries approach critical political transitions. To go beyond limits, both as a nation and as members of the legal profession, we must venture beyond the usual borders. We must sometimes undertake what appear impossible to reach and achieve our goals. We must push through our limitations and beyond our comfort zones. There will be no shortcuts. There will be no excuses. There will be no appeal to pity. Whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. Going beyond limits requires that we constantly push ourselves and refuse to settle for the average. When we encounter resistance, it may seem difficult to overcome, but by pushing a little harder, we can accomplish great things. And often once we have done so, we look back and wonder why we ever thought the challenge was as difficult as they appeared. We must not allow limits to determine what we can achieve. Those who achieve greatness faced obstacles. but they were able to achieve greatness by overcoming those obstacles, by having a vision and planning, and by so doing, they succeeded. This is not the moment for the bar. This is the moment for the bar to lead in defending the Constitution, strengthening institutions, deepening access to justice, driving economic reform, promoting national security through the rule of law. And in this, I agreed with the representative of the COAS. We shall work with the armed forces. Nigeria is at a critical time. We are faced by different challenges. It is not enough to criticize. We must give constructive suggestions and sit down to make for a better Nigeria, where government is able to achieve the injunction in the Constitution, Section 14.2, that is security and the welfare of the people is the primary aim of government. We have been here for the past few days, and we're having a good time, and I'm sure we'll continue to have it. But no matter the joy we have, no matter the good times we have, let us remember that sometimes good times make for weak men, and weak men make for hard times. That is quoting the founder of Dubai, reminding us about how his father rode a camel, he rode a car. His grandchild rides a Land Rover, and how his great-grandchild will ride a camel, because good times bring soft men, weak men, and weak men make for hard times. Let us remember that justice delivery through technology, court reform, and clearing the backlog of cases are some of the things that if we achieve as lawyers, as members of the legal profession, we will go beyond limits. That the society looks up to us for justice before the court. And I think it was Otman Danfodio that said that while a people may exist without religion, they cannot survive without justice. And the people are looking up to the courts, and we owe it a duty to the society to go beyond limits to ensure that justice rolls down like a river, and most of the crimes and things we see in the society that destabilize us will become a thing of the past. The rule of law must be the foundation of national security. And the Nigerian first, and the legal profession must observe the highest level of ethical conduct, because nobody will trust a legal profession that is seen not to be any different from a criminal enterprise. This conference, therefore, provides an opportunity not merely to examine the challenges confronting our nation and profession, but to ask the harder questions. What must we do differently to move beyond them? That's why I talked about not only identifying challenges, but profiling solutions. What do we do to make for a better society? Our keynote speaker is Excellency George Manuel Opongwe, former president of Liberia and winner of Ballon d'Or. His life story is a remarkable masterpiece in resilience, determination, discipline, and purpose. From playing football barefoot in the swampy slums of Clara Town, Monrovia, where he was raised by his devoutly Christian grandmother, Emma Clonijale Brown, alongside 13 siblings. If I didn't get that name right, you forgive me. I'm sure you may encounter similar difficulties when you deal with our own names. Where went on to become a global football icon and the president of Liberia. His journey began amid severe poverty. To escape the hardships around him, he channeled his energy into football, honing his skills on the dusty streets of Monrovia, while playing for local semi-professional teams such as Mighty Barrel and Invincible 11. You've come a long way, sir. He also worked as a switchboard technician for the Liberia Telecommunications Corporation. His breakthrough came when he signed for the Cameroonian club, Tonero Yaoundé. His talent soon caught the attention of AS Monaco manager Arsène Wenger, who brought him to Europe in 1988, launching an extraordinary 14-year European club career that includes some of the biggest clubs in the world. Yet, while enjoying massive fame and success in Europe, I think he deserves a round of applause. Where he remained deeply devoted to his homeland, which at the time was being ravaged by brutal civil wars. He served as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador and personally committed millions of dollars of his own resources to provide equipment, travel, and other support for the Liberian national team, the Lone Star. He nearly coached and captained the underfunded team to a historical World Cup. If he's willing, he will tell the story of part of that dream was dashed here in Port Harcourt. But I leave that for him to tell the story. And in the process, helped transform it into a rare symbol of national unity. We chose him as our keynote speaker because his life reminds us that background does not determine destiny. That where you're starting from will not determine where you're going to. That where you will get to is dependent on what you make of yourself. How resilient you are, refusing to give up, refusing to be intimidated, believing in your dreams and going on to achieve your dreams. His story demonstrates that resilience, determination, discipline, focus, and purpose can fundamentally alter the trajectory of an individual's life and ultimately contribute to his transformation, to the transformation of a nation. This is the spirit of Nigeria and the legal profession. This is the spirit that Nigeria and the legal profession must now embrace. The 2026 Annual General Conference is therefore not merely a gathering, it is a charge. I particularly acknowledge the unquantifiable support of His Excellency the Governor of Rivers State, who told me when we made the decision to come back, he said, Mr. President, I will do everything within my power to ensure that you host a successful conference in that. Call me at any time, tell me what the problem is, and I will make sure that we'll solve it. Even up to a few minutes before the commencement of this conference, he kept that promise. You needed to have seen parts of this stadium some months back. But here we are. We are not charged any money, and the governor had supported us in many, many ways. Your Excellency, we are very grateful. You are indeed a man of honor, and history will continue to be very kind to you. You have left your footprints in the sands of time, and they can never be washed off. May God continue to bless and uplift you. Our keynote speaker, you made sacrifices to be here. You left your family in a holiday after a tedious time at the World Cup to be here. You made a promise to us when we visited you, and you kept that promise. When I finish this address, I'll go back to my chair after His Excellency has declared this conference open to eagerly await your keynote address. And I hope that you will challenge all of us to know that success is a process. It never ends. And no matter what may be your story today, it can change for the better and for the best. Your Eminence, when we visited your palace and ambushed you by requesting that you be the royal father of the day, you did not hesitate. Even when situations presented themselves such that you need to be in Maiduguri tomorrow, at great difficulty and sacrifice, not only have you come here, you can come with your friend, the chief. I don't know his name, but I love your regalia, sir. And you're here, Your Eminence, showing that leadership is about sacrifice and that a leader's word must be his bond. And to the good people of Maiduguri, whom you have led as part of the El Kanemi dynasty, we have nothing but gratitude for them. Thank you so very much for being here. The members of the Conference Planning Committee have labored for us to get there. Members of the Executive Committee, whom I've had the honor of leading for almost these 2 years. And this will be the last time I will stand before an annual general conference of the NBA to address it as its president. And I can't wait for Mrs. Badejo Kusoya to take over from me. When she saw me a while before the conference commenced, she asked me, Mr. President, you look very excited. I said, yes, I do. I can't wait to hand over to you. We thank the members of the local organizing committee. But our greatest gratitude goes to the good people of Rivers State who have allowed us to inconvenience them. We've displaced them from their hotels, from their recreation facilities. We've clogged their roads. And yet they opened up their arms to welcome us. And also to Almighty God, who has ensured that the reigning Port Harcourt has held on to allow us to get on with this conference. And my Lord the Chief Judge, I already apologize to you and express our gratitude to you and members of the judiciary. And before leaving, I will express my apology. Our sitting arrangement is not at its best. We could have got it better. In subsequent programs, we try to do so. That is not a slight to those who ought to have been given some special places. But know that we equally love you, and we're happy that you're here. Let us make this conference not a talk shop, but something that challenges us to make for a better Nigeria, to make the legal profession to count, so that people will not really ask and believe, why do we really need lawyers? What lawyers they do serve?
And also, His Eminence, Ishewu Obronu, who is the royal father of this event, and other monarchs that are here with us. Past presidents of MBAs, and also the incoming president of MBA. Learned senior advocates, members of the body of benchers, the service commanders that are here, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Allow this protocol, because maybe if I start calling too much, I might run into trouble, so I have to be a bit careful. But I believe I've recognized every other person that is here, one way or the other. It is a great honor for me, on behalf of the government and people of Rivers State, to welcome all lawyers from across the country to Port Harcourt, the capital of Rivers State, for this Nigerian Bar Association 2026 Annual General Conference. Likewise, I warmly welcome all the international delegates and friends of the MBAs from across Africa and beyond who have come to Port Harcourt for this year's Annual Lawyers Conference, which is reputed to be the largest gathering of legal practitioners in Africa. I wish to express my thanks and appreciation to the outgoing president, Mazi Afam Osigwe, the National and his National Executive Committee of the NBA, for bringing this esteemed conference to Port Harcourt once again. I wish to recall that Port Harcourt was scheduled to host this conference last year, that it was sadly moved to Enugu due to the state of emergency and the suspension of democratic rule and institution in the state. Thank goodness I have since returned to my office as the governor. And I am honored today to host and address this distinguished assembly of lawyers, magistrates, judges, academics, public officials, private entrepreneurs, and administrators, all united as members of this noble profession. Let me therefore say again that we are pleased to host this conference and delighted that you are here in such large numbers, which further confirms Rivers State's enduring peace, security, and commercial transformation as Nigeria's second largest economy. We are where you are. We are where you and your. We assure you of your continuous safety and security throughout this conference. We have also partnered effectively with your leadership to ensure that you have a peaceful, successful, and memorable national conference in Port Harcourt. The business of the day. In a democratic society like ours, the legal system sets out the rule of conduct and the basis for relationship between government, public, and private institutions, and also the public. The ultimate aim of law is to protect and advance citizens' security and their well-being by assuring equity before the law, safeguarding the fundamental human rights of all, and fostering an environment conducive to social economic activities and national development. Therefore, it is evident that order, peace, and meaningful human progress prevail wherever the law is treated as sovereign. Whereas denying the sanctity of the rule of law through democracy and good governance negate the high logic of civilized existence and a recipe for social disaster. Apart from the rule of law, the judiciary is also essential to any country seeking to foster true democracy, good governance, and economic development. For the courts are not merely venues for resolving social disputes. They serve as the ultimate refuge for all, including the common man, like myself, to presume true justice, accountability, human dignity, and the enforcement of their legal and constitutional rights and obligations. This means that judges responsible for the administration of law and justice must consider overall impact of their judgment on the polities. Because law, order, and the rate of national development are inextricably linked to the quality of justice the court can deliver with integrity. Consequently, we expect that our judges should not be mere apologists or conformists if they are to be the ultimate guardian of our democracy, the rule of law, and the advancement of peace and good governance in our country. Furthermore, public confidence in the quality of our judiciary is enhanced when our judges demonstrate sound knowledge of the law and excellent legal reasoning, coupled with the courage, commitment, and integrity to hold the government and the governed equally accountable to the Constitution and the rule of law, and to ensure that nothing but the truth prevail at all times, irrespective of the party, status, or social affiliation. This is perhaps the only way to ensure that justice is not merely an ideal, but one that can transform our society by being present in the life of our nation and of every citizen, including those at society margin, not just the privileged few. As a layman, I am compelled to agree with the description of lawyers as the subtle nerve of the nation's spine, because the legal profession is not merely a business or a source of high social status. It is a profession with a moral and legal duty to safeguard our Constitution, promote the rule of law, and defend ordinary citizens' rights to good governance and equal protection under the law. It is said that in terms of uncertainty, particularly when political power attempts to overreach the Constitution and the rule of law, it is the courage of the legal profession that can intervene to nip such aberration in the bud and ensure that the process of power is not used to circumvent the law of the land and the value of democracy. Therefore, for me, the lawyer's greatest duty is to have the conscience, commitment, and the courage to speak truth to power, to defend citizens' rights, to undiluted justice, and to protect public institutions that are under attack, being weakened or abused. In this context, I see the theme of this conference, Beyond Limits, as an inspiring challenge to lawyers. As ministers and custodians of the sacred temple of justice, to rise above real or perceived constraint to protect the Constitution and advance the people's inherent rights to democracy and good governance. We cannot continue to insulate that law from today's reality. Not possible. Rather, should justice remain shackled by unjust precedents, technicalities, inadequate access, undue delays, slavish adherence to rigid processes, political manipulation, or brazen corruption? The prevalence of these serious impediments to justice in our polity has damaged and continued to damage the reputation of the judiciaries and the bar. Therefore, having entered the temple and sworn to serve justice, I urge the bar and the bench as public institutions to reflect on their role and commit to serve the public interest with characters and compassion. Our justice system can inspire confidence among the citizenry only when judges are seen as the epitome of impartial justice, equity, and fairness. In Rivers State, we understand what it means to push beyond limits. We have walked through the fires of power. Many have been bruised, yet we remain unbowed to our determination to safeguard our unity, peace, progress, and are even more resolved than ever in our commitment to delivering the dividend of democracy to our people. Over the past 3 years, we have worked with the Chief Judge of Rivers State. He's here smiling to ensure that the delivery of legal and judicial services to our people. We have expanded access to justice by appointing more judges and establishing additional courts, including the construction of a federal high court, which we will hand over to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court before the end of this year. We're also doing our best to improve the security and well-being of our judges, magistrates, and state law officers. I assure you that we will continue to respect the administrative and financial autonomy of the state judiciary and work with the state chief judge to ensure that Rivers State judiciary is ranked among the best in the country for its prompt and effective dispensation of justice. As a government, we are ready to partner with the NBA to advance our shared objective of safeguarding our Constitution, upholding the rule of law, and supporting the autonomy of the judiciary in our states. We understand firsthand that peace is the foundation of meaningful development. Accordingly, we reaffirm our unwavering commitment to peace and development and continue to support and work with the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the federal government to accelerate the transformation of our dear state and that of the Niger Delta. Finally, let Port Harcourt, this is to our delegates, let Port Harcourt 2026 be remembered not only for the intellectual stimulating section you held, but also for the commitment you made, the friendship you have forged, and the resolve to go beyond limit to protect our Constitution and advance citizen rights, democracy, and good governance. I encourage all visiting delegates not only to confine yourself to the four walls of this conference, but also take time, like the outgoing president said, explore the Garden City and enjoy its beauty, and the unmatched hospitality of Rivers State and its people. You can go to Anthony or Yorokoto to see the elephants. You can go to Emawa, you see the bird city. You can also go near my own place, Opobo, if you're a good swimmer. The river is very clean. You can do some beach walk there. Once again, I welcome you to Port Harcourt, and I wish you all a faithful and memorable conference. Thank you for your attention. May I, on behalf of who have very great personalities of Rivers State that are here, OCJ Okocha is here, your past president, former Attorney General here, Chief Adokia Mesimaka, also a footballer, like our keynote speaker, and also a former Minister for Sports, a one-time SSG, when I was before the emergency rule, Dr. Danagogo, and others. Most importantly, the Chief Judge of our dear state, welcome you and also declare this conference open. May God bless everyone.
This danger does not only come from the coup makers who seize power in the night. It also comes from the government that call themselves democratic through budgets, manipulations, wrong appointments, and pressure on judges, and deciding that courts should be a convenient rather than a check. We have seen nations where judiciary's own budget must first pass through the executive. It is meant to hold accountable. We have seen social courts, special courts, created not to deliver justice, but to secure political outcomes. And dozens of judges dismissed in a single stroke by presidential decree. And we have seen across our region since 2020 an unsettling pattern of soldiers stepping over constitutional altogether. I raise this example because this bar to which you belong and have gathered here in your thousand cannot afford to assume that Nigeria or Liberia or any of us is somehow immune. A court decision must mean what they say without any political permission. It is what protects a nation from sliding gradually and progressively into the very condition we condemn when soldiers do it with guns. That tradition is not decoration. It is duty because protecting the independence of the court and the rights of the ordinary Nigerian citizen is protecting democracy itself here in Nigeria and across our region. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me turn to the second things I wish to leave with you. Beyond Limit is not only about defending what we have. It is about reaching for what we have not yet built. I have never believed that Africa's limits are a matter of talent. I have stood beside the funniest footballers our continent has produced and sat at negotiating tables with heads of states from every corner of the earth. We Africans are not short of brilliance. We are short too often of the infrastructure and the organized will to let that brilliance connect to itself with us. This room is a proof of it. The Nigerian bar counts among its numbers some of the finest legal minds in the world, many of whom have built extraordinary careers abroad, in London, in Washington, in the Gulf. That is nothing to be ashamed of, but it is something we must be strategic about. For too long, we have called this only a brain dream, as though it is purely a loss. I ask you to think instead about brain circulation, pulling that expertise back into nation building without demanding anyone abandon what they have earned and learned abroad. Our African diaspora already sends home well over the $100 billion a year in remittances alone, more than the foreign aid and investment Africa receives combined. Imagine that seeing energy formally invited into legal reforms and judicial mobilization as a deliberate national strategy. Because the fight against poor governance and economic deprivation is not one we can afford to enter with half our talents uncounted for. A Nigerian trained lawyer on an arbitration panel in Paris, or advising a global institution in New York, is not lost talent. It is talent operating at the highest global standard, available to be called home if we organize that bridge for it to cross. This too is what going beyond limits must mean for us. Refusing to accept that our infrastructural and governance challenges are any kind of ceiling on what is possible. I I did not accept the limits the slum seems to set for me. I say this to you not as a theory, but as something have laid. In November 2023, when the early provisional results of our runoff election made clear which way our country have voted, I did not wait for the counts to be completed or for the final result to be formally announced before I picked up the phone to congratulate my successor. There were those around me who suggested patience, who argues that a sitting president owed it to himself to contest every figure until the very last vote is satisfied. I choose otherwise. I choose to concede while the counting was still on the way, because I have always believed and still believe that the will of the people must stand above the ambitions of any one man in the democratic setting. Once elections do not follow democratic precepts, it is very dangerous for the peace and security of any country. I am told that one day's association extended its invitation to me. His citation spoke directly of that decision of a leader who chose to put his country before his own ambition. And I want to thank the Nigerian Bar Association for that recognition. It means a great deal to me, not because I need reminding of what I did, but because it tells me that this bar understands precisely what is at stake when we insist that no office, however high, is worth more than the peace and the will of the people who confer it. If a small nation like mine can insist on that standard for itself, then surely this continent, with all its wealth of talent gathered in this very hall today, can insist on standards beyond the limits others have too often assumed for us. Let me say then, not only as a former president, but as a brother, a fellow traveler on this great continent of Africa, someone who understands deeply what it means to look at a wall of obstacles and decide to climb over it. When your leadership invited me to speak on the theme Beyond Limits, it resonated with the very core of my life journey. To go beyond limit is not a phrase reserved for athletes who breaks records or politicians who win elections. It is a daily mandate for every lawyer, every judge, every leader, and every citizen who refuses to let their present circumstances dictate their ultimate destination. Limits, more often than not, are imagination born out of fear of history or of the low expectation others have placed upon us. You already know part of my story. That boy from the slum of Morovia in a little community called the Rock of Gibraltar, not the one between Morocco and Spain. was the Rock of Gibraltar in Moravia. But every worldly measure, that ball was not supposed to play on the grandest stages of world football, let alone win the Ballon d'Or. He was certainly not expected to one day lead his nation democratically. As president, so when I tell you that limits can be broken, I'm not offering you a theory. I'm offering you a life. How do we break these boundaries? We do it by anchoring our lives in 5 timeless, unshakable values. The first is discipline. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. In football, talent without discipline gets you benched or cut from the team entirely. In the law, brilliance without discipline leads to compromised justice. Discipline is the quiet commitment to doing what is right, what is necessary, and what is ethical, even when no one is watching. Coupled with discipline is the raw necessity of hard work, because there are no elevators to success. You must take the stairs to push past the barriers of systemic corruption, weak infrastructure, or institutional inertia. We must be willing to work out our problems. As legal minds, your hard work secures the liberties of the common man and fortifies the rule of law. Yet, our labor means nothing if it is not governed by respect. Respect for the dignity of every human being, for the sanctity of our institutions, and for the constitutions that bind us. True leaders do not go beyond limits by tearing others down. We go beyond limits by lifting others up, by respecting diversity of thoughts, and by upholding the integrity of the judicial process. When you push against limit, the limit push back. That is where perseverance becomes your greatest weapon. You will face defeat. I lost election before I ever won one. I lost matches before I ever raised a trophy. Perseverance is the internal voice that says, I will rise again. For the legal profession in Nigeria and across Africa, perseverance means standing firm for justice, even when the political and social winds blow fiercely against you. Most importantly, we cannot transcend human limits without being spiritually strong. We must acknowledge a power greater than ourselves. Spiritual strength gave us moral clarity. When our choices are blurred, it gave our conscience to our intellect and soul, to our ambitions, and it reminds us that every position of leadership we hold is a temporary stewardship granted by the Almighty to serve His people. My distinguished friends, Nigeria holds a key to the promise of our whole continent. When the Nigerian Bar Association decided to go beyond limits, the legal architecture of Africa itself grows stronger. Let us commit today to breaking that chain of mediocrity, applying discipline to our crafts, hard work to our duty, respect to our peers, perseverance to our trials, and faith to our foundational values. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let us all stand for the true justice, for the rule of law that builds greater unity, that make a nation more attractive to investment, and that creates a stable environment in place of internal conflict. True justice is blind. It does not know politics. It does not see family or friendship. It knows only the truth. And it interprets the law the same way, whether or not anyone is watching. Let us all interpret the law fairly and apply it more effectively. Let justice prevail and be done to all men and women, rather than spending our energy on division. The true measure of a lawyer is not how many cases you have won, how many titles you have held, or how much you earn. It is this: when the country needs courage, do you have the courage to stand? When justice needs a voice, will you give it one? And when the law itself is threatened, will you go beyond every limit to defend it? The law must never be an instrument of chaos. It must never become a weapon of war. It must remain what it was always meant to be: an instrument of remedy, of peace, of unity, and of accountability, and an instrument of humanity, for transparency and for truth. My dear members of the Nigeria Bar Association, I invite you to think of yourselves as referees who interpret the law fairly and plainly as a lawyer. You must be able to protect the law whether the voice before you is rich, poor, or powerful. As the law provides, you must be able to stand in defense of those who cannot defend themselves. You must ensure that due process is honored. Let us respect the law and let us interpret it faithfully. I say to you, as with Lady Justice herself carried a scarf of substance and of justice, and let nothing tip them but the truth. My brothers and sisters, Nigerians depend on you. West Africa depends on you. Africa depends on you. The world depends on you. Democracy depends on you. And free and fair elections depend on you. So I say to all of you here today, Africa must continue in peaceful coexistence, and we must all stand up for the rule of law, stand up for fairness, stand up for impartiality, stand up for gender equality, stand up for equality, stand up for humanity, stand up for peace, and stand up for democracy, stand up against discrimination, stand up for accountability, stand up for free and fair elections. I say to you all, Nigeria Bar Association, bravo! Bravo! God bless the Nigeria Bar Association, and may God bless our beloved Africa. I thank you.
very much. No, don't worry. Thank you so very much, the keynote speaker, the former president of Liberia, for an address well delivered. Thank you. We appreciate you, sir. Stand up, lawyers. The world depends on us. Africa depends on us. Thank you so much, sir. The law must remain a remedy of an instrument for truth. We appreciate you, sir. I would like to also thank Chief Emeka Obegulu, SAN, for that very powerful introduction of our keynote speaker. We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're very grateful, His Excellencies and other dignitaries here present. May I, at this stage, call on Chief Augustine Alege, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, past President, to present an award to the keynote speaker. And after that, followed by the President, Mazi Afam Osigwe, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, to present an award to His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, Amopu Senebo Seminalaye Joseph Fubara. Thank you very much. And then thereafter, so I call on Chief Augustine Alege, please, sir. Yes, sir, please. To the stage, sir.
Your Excellency, on behalf of the Nigerian Bar Association, I want to thank you for your very powerful, moving and touching keynote address which you have just eloquently delivered today. On behalf of the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, I present to you this plaque, which is a token with a token of appreciation from the bar, that we appreciate your coming, leaving your family, even though you suffered a loss today, you are still able to come here. We thank you very much. We wish you a safe journey back home. I want to assure you that all of us who have heard you today will do our best to walk beyond limits. On behalf of all of us, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. May I call on Mrs. Oyinkansola Badejo Okunsoya, SAN, President-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association, to quickly present an award to His Excellency Amopu Senebo Siminalaye Joseph Fubara. Thank you.
Your Excellency, it is indeed an honor in the extreme to have this opportunity to present this award on behalf of the Nigerian Bar Association. Your Excellency, we have followed your trajectory with interest, and we are grateful for the way you have stood with the Nigerian Bar Association. We're excited that we have the opportunity to repay your admiration of our association with you having you host the conference in the beautiful garden city of Port Harcourt. We listened very carefully to your address, Your Excellency, and we thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. We wish you well, Your Excellency. We thank you. And on behalf of the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, we present you with this plaque. We're grateful for your being here, sir.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. May I call on another past president, His Excellency, Ambassador Onweze Chukwujinka Joe Okocha, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, to quickly present an award to the Chief of Army Staff, as ably represented by the Commander of the 6th Battalion. Thank you very much, Garrison. Where is the Army Chief now? Okay.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I claim your attention as I, with great honor and privilege, present this plaque to the Chief of Army Staff, here represented by the General Officer commanding the division. This is for the Chief of Army Staff. And I congratulate you for the work you are doing to secure not only Nigeria's borders, but to secure our internal security. Keep it up. God will always be on our side. Congratulations, General.
Thank you very much. And the last of the award, may I call on our past President, Chief TJO Ominigbo Okpoko, to quickly present an award to my Lord, the Chief Judge of Rivers State. And the award will take place down there because our past president cannot come to the stage. Thank you. Please, just quickly, please.
The Honorable Chief, the Honorable of the Press. This award, in recognition of what you have done for the bar.
Thank you. May I quickly call on Chief Emeka Ingige, SAN, Chairman, Council of Legal Education, to quickly do an award of presentation to His Royal Highness King Albert Akpomuje, the Chairman, Body of Benchers. Thank you, please.
Somebody hold the mic by the side. So it's always better. Yes. And the other way around. Okay, your cabinet. Gentlemen, on behalf of the President of the Nigerian Bar Association and all of us here of the Nigerian Bar Association, it is my honor and privilege to present this award, this plaque of honor, to His Royal Majesty, Albert Akpomuje, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, also Chairman, Body of Venture, Life Venture. Forgive me that I can't pronounce the title of your, of your office. It is our pleasure to present this award for the support you have given the Bar Association. We still need more of your support. The Legal Practitioners Act is now at the National Assembly. And with the judgment of Supreme Court on the appeal from Legal Practitioner Disciplinary Committee to Supreme Court, that bill needs to be reworked, and it is under your leadership. So we continue to count on your support, and we continue also pledge our support and loyalty, not to you, not only as Chairman of Body of Ventures, also as a Royal Majesty. Congratulations.
Thank you so very much. We'll now have the group photograph, please. Let's invite. So while we're getting ready for the group photograph, please, would like the General Secretary to get ready for the vote of thanks. And so please, let's have the group photograph, our keynote speaker, Your Excellencies. Can we please step forward for the group photograph, please? The President, the incoming President, our keynote speaker, Your Excellency, for a quick group photograph. Chairman of the Body of Benches, Mommy Harriet Balogun. Please, can we quickly have the President and the keynote speaker? While others get ready, please, quickly, a quick group photograph. The President and the keynote speaker, sir, for a group photograph. Past presidents, past general secretaries, the chairman of the annual general conference, please. May I now invite Dr. Mobolaji Ojibara for his vote of thanks, while we'll coordinate ourselves for the pictures. The first picture, the president and the keynote speaker. Vote of thanks by the General Secretary.
We would also like to invite you all to the cultural night that will be held at this very venue this evening. So there's going to be a cultural night after this opening ceremony. So please ensure that you come out with your dancing shoes to represent your culture.
The group picture, please, Mr. President, and the keynote speaker.
So we'd like to have Mr. President Mazi Afam Osigwe, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, on stage. We'd also like to have His Excellency, former President of Liberia, George Weah. We'd like to have His Royal Majesty, Mr. Albert Akpomuje, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, the Chairman Body of Benchers for the group photograph.
Your Excellencies, past presidents, past general secretaries, distinguished colleagues, Well, on behalf of the President, the National Executive Committee, the National Executive Council, we want to sincerely thank all of you for making this gathering a success. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. That was the General Secretary of the of the Nigerian Bar Association. I'd like to acknowledge especially national officers, the first Vice President, who has worked tirelessly with our President. We're having the group photograph on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, the President and the keynote speaker. So we're getting ready for the national anthem.
Please get your cultural attires and your dancing shoes ready for the cultural night this evening.
DJ, can you hold it?
I love the CJ, yes.
We want to acknowledge the national officers, the first Vice President. Please, can we have the incoming President, Mrs. Badejo SAN, to please come up stage, past presidents, to please come up stage quickly to do a group photograph with the keynote speaker. We can as well have the past general secretaries. Please quickly come up stage. National officers, please come up stage quickly. Chairman of the Annual General Conference, the alternate chair, the executive of the Annual General Conference. Please join them off stage. Learned senior advocates, please join them off stage. The representative of the Chief of Army Staff, please join them off stage. Past General Secretaries, past Presidents, please do us the honors, join them off stage. So while that is going on, we'd like to also especially recognize other dignitaries that are here with us. We'd like to recognize Balam Yusuf, Ali SAN, the Kulia Mary of Ilori. We acknowledge your presence. We'd like to recognize and appreciate Boma Iaye, the Executive Director of Finance, NDDC. We'd like to recognize